Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining and for being with us on time. Today, as you already know, and many of you know, I know that the interest is really high. I can see it clearly. So yeah, we are going to talk about business administration and management in Germany, and we have guests from 3 German universities, which is a really great opportunity for you guys to use it as much as you can to ask all of your questions and to receive the best possible answers and the most reliable answers that you can. So use this opportunity and send in your questions. And you can already, by the way, start sending in your questions right now, because you can see in the bottom of your Zoom interface, there's a Q&A button and it's already open for your questions. So you can already type in your questions, and either it will be answered during the webinar or towards the end, because we are going to have a live Q&A session as well, where some of your questions will also be answered live. So stay tuned and don't leave. Wait until the end. If you see that your questions is not answered yet, it will be. No one will be left unanswered today. So yeah. Also, you cannot use the chat, but I will strongly encourage you also to keep an eye on the chat, because there will be shared some important links, some important contact information. So keep an eye on the chat and follow it as closely as possible. So as I said, we have lots of guests, and I'm the least interesting person for you today, I understand, but bear with me for some time, and I will make a really short presentation from my side, and then we will jump into the presentation of one of the programs. All right, so let me now share the screen. Okay, yeah, as I said, we are going to talk about business administration and management in Germany. And also, as I already mentioned, we have guests from 3 German universities. We have a guest from Ostbayerische Technische Hochschule Regensburg, from Technische Hochschule Wildau, and also Fachhochschule Südwestfalen. So before I give floor to our speakers, let me tell you some things about MyGermanUniversity. So who is behind this webinar? So we are Germany's largest database of English taught study programs. If you go to mygermanuniversity.com, you will be able to find over 2,400 study programs, both on bachelor's level and also on master's level. And as you can see from the small excerpt of our study finder on the left-hand side, we also added some short courses and language courses, which you can find on our database. And on the top left corner, also you can see the study finder. So when you click on the study finder, you will see all the filters. You'll be able to employ all the filters for searching the best fitting program for you. So our mission, to put it simply and shortly, is to help international students like you on their way towards studying in Germany. And one of the ways of doing that is exactly our study finder. As I said, we have lots of filters there, and you can find programs based on your background, based on your interest, and based even on such details like, for example, your TOEFL score, which is completely doable. Yeah, it saves you a lot of time and a lot of energy. And I think this is one of the key steps on your way towards Germany. Another way of helping you is through writing up articles. So we have over 70 comprehensive articles on various topics. We touch upon living in Germany in general, we touch upon rankings, about requirements, scholarships, etc., etc. So on the left-hand side, you can see the navigator, with the help of which you can find the topics and then accordingly the articles regarding this or that topic. Last but not least, the third way of helping you is through organizing webinars, the one like we are having today. So we have approximately 150 webinars per year. Also, in addition to that, sometimes different type of meetings, also like in a meeting setting, and the topics also vary. It can be some webinar about Uni-Assist or about visa, about application strategies, or webinars about specific subjects, like the one we are having today, business administration, management. It can be physics, can be biology, political science, etc., etc. You can sign up for free for the upcoming webinars that are already planned when you go to mygermanuniversity.com and to the section of webinars. And yeah, as I said, you can sign up for free, and I will suggest you also to create an account, which is also completely free, because you will be able to unlock some more options and opportunities that our platform can offer you. About our team, we are based in Hamburg in Germany, but we are all over the Germany and moreover even all over the world. We have people who are based in Spain, in China, and we are in other countries, and we are constantly in international languages, in different languages. Check out the Hochschulkompass, might be useful in this regard. But for those who are more into English to study programs, then I would say definitely make use of MyGermanUniversity Study Finder, because there you will be able to find 914 degree programs for business administration and management, which are at least mostly taught in English. You can see that 193 would be bachelor level, 720 would be master level, and absolute majority, almost all of them, I mean, absolute majority at least of them are completely in English only. So it means that you don't need knowledge of any other German. And now I'm specifically talking about any language, specifically talking about German. All right, for those who do not know exactly what to expect when it comes to studying business administration or management in Germany, so they're newcomers, they would like to know what are the rankings of universities that are teaching these subjects or offering these subjects, what are the tuition fees that you might expect, what are the application, language or admission requirements that you would expect when it comes to studying these subjects in Germany. We have subject pages for each subject, and I would strongly suggest you to familiarize yourself with that so that you know the general picture or if you would like to study these subjects in Germany. So it would be really useful and informative for you as a first step towards this direction. Regarding the general advice from our side, as I always like to say, fees, I mean, rankings, names, that might be important and that is important, but there are much more important things as well. So don't be guided only by quantitative metrics or by things like rankings, because they might not capture all the details that are important just for you. So dive a bit deeper, dig a bit deeper so that you don't miss any programs that actually might be the best choice for you. Last but not least, there are two types of universities I would like you to know about. For now, it's Universität type of university in Germany. One of them, so if you go to our study finder, you will be able to see that there are 546 programs in these subjects or related ones which are offered by this type of university exactly. And the second type of university is a University of Applied Sciences, called in English and in German. It has several different names, not the easiest one, but it's good to practice your German if you try to read them out loud. And there are also around 370 programs in these subjects which are offered by this type of universities. Now you might be asking yourself, we don't have this kind of distinctions, we just have university in our countries. What does it mean? Should I be worried about it? Is it something important I should know about differences? Yeah, from my side, the main takeaway I would like you to know about the difference between university and University of Applied Sciences is their focus. So when it comes to university, its focus is a bit more on the research and theory, while for University of Applied Sciences, it's more into application and practice. And this is the key one that I would like you to have as a main takeaway. But if you are more interested into historical backgrounds and some really, really small details which might not be that much important for you, let me know via email and I'll try my best to explain to you as clearly as possible. All right, and let me finish with that. Once again, as a suggestion, when you are searching for the program, because searching the right program and finding the right program is the key from our perspective. So don't be really restrictive in terms of wordings when you are trying to find a program. The program curriculum might be the same, might be really close to your interest, but name or the wording of the program might be different. So play a bit with the words, play a bit with the filters, and I'm sure you will not miss any program that is there for you. All right, so that was from my side, and now we are jumping into our first presentation. Our first guest from Regensburg. You can see on the map where it is located. It is in Bavaria, very close to Austria, very close to Czech Republic. For the football lovers, I don't need to explain you where Bavaria is. So yeah, we have our guest, Professor Dr. Dina Leffers, and she will be talking about MA European Business Studies program. Let me stop sharing my screen right now and invite Professor Dr. Leffers to the floor.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for the kind introduction. Yes, it's me here today, Professor Dr. Dina Leffers. I'm the head of the master program but I also have Jenny Bingold with me here on board, who's the program manager and the go-to person for any admission-related questions. So it really is my pleasure to give you an overview on our Masters in European Business Administration. But before I do that, I should say a couple words about Regensburg. I'm sure not everyone has heard about Regensburg before. However, it really is a perfect city. Of course, the academic quality of our program is high, but many people just come to Regensburg for the city. So it has a lot of history. What you see here is the Danube River, the famous bridge across the river. It really has a very, very rich history. But luckily, and I think that also makes the universities quite attractive, is the fact that we have many attractive companies here in Regensburg. BMW, I'm sure you all know, Siemens, Infineon, and so on. The population is roughly 165,000 inhabitants, and we really are a university city. We have two universities, one traditional university and the OTH University of Applied Science, and the total that makes it 33,000 students, which I think really contributes to the lifestyle in the evenings and of course during the day in Regensburg. Let me very briefly introduce the university as such. Even so, we are an OTH and an applied university, University of Applied Science, and we just learned that they are a bit younger. The history of our university goes back into the 19th century. We have a big variety of programs and courses in all relevant areas, and we have a total of about 11,000 students. Thereof, 2,000 are business students, and we have 34 professors in the business faculty. And we are really proud that we've been constantly ranked as the top business administration faculty at Bavarian universities. And you can take a look at the latest CHE rankings where we've already been quite good. But now let me talk about the program. Let me talk about the Master in European Business. Why should you study that master, and what is the aim of our master's program? Well, what we had in mind when we were writing the concept of the master, bringing together the modules, we had in mind qualified executives that serve as generalists in international management. So we do put a high importance of topics such as international sales, international supply chain management, all the subjects that you need if you want to pursue a career as a generalist in international management. However, you do have the opportunity, you do have the option to put additional emphasis on elective modules. And of course, with your master's thesis, you can further strengthen a certain spike that you have. We have a marketing elective, we have finance, HR, and logistics. What is important to mention here, we are a program that is completely taught in English language. However, for the electives, you have to choose marketing if you want to stick to the pure English program. Finance, HR, and logistics, they will be taught in German language. Over the last couple of years, we really have been working on the modules. We have been working on the teaching style. So we have simulation games, project work, which we often do with some of the local companies. We have a negotiation class, and so on. As I said before, the program is fully taught in English language unless you want to specialize in finance, HR, or logistics. What we've also changed in the last couple of years was to add modules in the field of digitization, digital analytics, digital applications, and so on to be really up to date here. So last time I've done this webinar, I was completely running out of time. So I really try to do my best to not do that today. So in case you have questions afterwards about the program, about the application, just feel free to reach out to us. So let me give you a brief, and I promise a brief overview on the program and on the content. It's a 1.5-year full-time program, and we do start both in summer and in winter. It's the classic 90 ECTS, 1.5 years master program. 50% of 50 ECTS are in the core curriculum, and the optional curriculum, you recall that marketing, finance, HR, or logistics account for another 10 ECTS. And then you have a master thesis and the master seminar, which sum up to 30 ECTS. When you hopefully successfully pass the program with us, you'd acquire a Master's of Art in Business Administration. And I think I mentioned that before, every lecture is held in English language with some exceptions. And what I, even as a teacher and also my colleagues, do really appreciate is that we have a truly international community in the program. So any student with a very good command of English is welcome in Regensburg, and really experience shows that there's really friendships being built in that international and very close-knit community. I brought you a very recent picture of the master's program. This in front is my colleague, Professor Schuckmann. And if I had the great idea to have an international lunch where all students in the program had to bring something from their home. Of course, there was a lot of Bavarian food because we still do have Bavarian students, German students, but there were also people from Egypt, Pakistan, Peru, France, Spain, Uganda. So this really is a very interesting and fascinating international community. So, but let's come back to the program. Let's come back to the modules. We have the core modules, which you find on top. So very basic, what I find very important, basic management subjects. Of course, we do have a perspective on European management because we still have that part of our heritage that we have been one of the first European programs in Germany. So we stick to that. We have a European management perspective course, digital business application, digital business analytics, applications, international sales and supply chain management. We also have an applied economics course. I do teach, I myself have a background with McKinsey, so I have fun in teaching a consulting project. I bring in some colleagues from the past year to give an overview on how consulting works. We do have an international strategy course, leadership skills and innovation and entrepreneurship. All of these, all in English language, basic modules, they account for 5 ECTS each. And they run in the first and the second semester. So they run in the winter semester. The winter is the typical start, and then in the summer semester. In the summer semester, you also have to choose one of the electives, as I mentioned before, management and finance, management and marketing, HR, or logistics. Marketing takes place in English language. The others are taught in German language because they are shared modules with other master programs. Each of them accounts for 10 ECTS. And of course, we do recommend to deepen your expertise in one of the areas that you're interested in, both in those elective modules and in the master thesis. We do have a master thesis, master seminar, and a defense, 30 ECTS, and then you really have the chance to apply, you deepen your knowledge in an area that really fascinates you. As part of, I mentioned before, we have a consulting project. So in the consulting project, we sometimes go abroad. We do collaborations with foreign universities. So here we've been for a cooperation project in Shenzhen and Hong Kong. We've also been to Crete, but we also do work with local companies. We had a project with BMW and other firms from Regensburg to work on a real life sort of problem. Well, the important questions, I think, for students to ask: what comes after the program? What's next? Where do the graduates of our study program work today? And I really try to follow my former students and see what their latest career steps have been. And of course, you can imagine I'm sometimes really proud if I see, oh, there has been another promotion, someone is in a new role in a new company. So we really see that our graduates, they find very good jobs with very good companies. Again, I think it's time for an update. We have Lena, who's with Daimler. She's working as a project manager, sales and marketing. We have Andreas, he's a risk manager with BayWa. We do have people working in M&A. We do have people working in brand management. So 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥, for example, he's with Bosch. Michael, who just recently graduated, he joined the trainee program from Allianz. We do have consultants. We have Florian, who joined Porsche MHP as a management consultant, or people that work as finance business partners. So I would say that the students in the past, they were very lucky to find good jobs in their area of interest. And what you see, I think, is that we really do take that general management education serious, and it's a wide variety of programs, a wide variety of functions that people can then join. Of course, as you can imagine, someone like Lena or 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥, of course, they were focusing on the marketing elective. They were writing their master's thesis in related areas. Lena was very early on focusing on the automotive industry. 𝘱𝘱𝘪𝘥 was already working on a master's thesis together with Bosch, which he then joined, and other people such as Andreas or Christian, they were part of the finance elective. So yeah, as I said, we are very proud to see that our former students, our alumni, are doing good. They find good jobs, and they hopefully do not regret taking this program with us. So now comes the important part for you. What are the deadlines for application, and what is the application procedure? And as I said before, I have Jenny Bingold here on board, the program manager, who knows much more about all these procedures than I do.
Yeah, I'm going to take over from Professor Leffers and just give you a quick overview about the most important admission criteria to our program. So first of all, what you need is a first degree in international business studies with an overall grade of good that usually equals a B in a more general grading scheme, and at least 3 years of full-time studies in your bachelor degree. So we cannot take into consideration any other MBAs or master degrees that you have already completed. It's really important that your bachelor degree has a duration of at least 3 years. More than that, we want you to have an experience from a non-German speaking country, which I think most of you who have joined us today will qualify for. So you should have at least 30 credits taken from a course at a university outside of Germany, and ideally an internship semester in a non-German speaking country. If you haven't done an internship, we also recognize employment that has at least 1 year of employment after you had finished your bachelor degree. At least one of these 2 requirements has to be completed at the time of application. The other can also be fulfilled once you're in our master program. As a third requirement, we have adequate proficiency in English. I've seen that some of you have already asked in the Q&A section what certificates we need. For us, it is enough if you have a proof that your first degree was completely taught in English, or you have done an exchange semester or internship in an English-speaking environment. Of course, you can also provide the usual TOEFL or other certificates, but we also accept the proof that your first degree was in English, which is most often the easiest. So these are the most important formal requirements. If Nina switches over, yeah, then we come to the second aspect of the application, which is our proof of aptitude test. So all applicants have to take part in an aptitude test after you have sent us your formal application. So the aptitude test takes the form of a written essay, and the essay will deal with the case study focusing on international management, economics, and marketing. So you need to have a bit of a background in these areas of business studies in order to be able to really work through this case study. The essay must be written in English, and you have 48 hours to work on this essay. I will show you on the next slide how the essay topic is published for you. And one more thing to say is that it's really important that you stick to all rules of academic conduct, because we have a plagiarism check, and all quotes that you use from elsewhere must be marked as such. Otherwise, we can't accept the essay. Then we can switch to the next and last slide that we have for you today, which is the time frame. So for the formal application, you have to upload all your documents on our application platform, which is linked here, but which you also find on the homepage. And once you have finished that until the 15th of June, you will have to write the proof of aptitude test, and the topic will not be sent to you by email, but it will be published on the homepage on Friday, the 24th of June. And you will have, as I said, the 48 hours to submit your essay until Sunday, the 26th of June at 1 p.m. And once the Master Commission has received all the essays and the formal applications, we will start looking through them, and you will hear back from us by the end of July at the latest, but the official letters of admission will usually only be sent out at the beginning of August, which is sometimes important to keep in mind for your visa applications. So this is the time frame for the winter semester, starting in October this year. But of course, it's the same procedure every year. So we have always the admission time, the application phases from the 1st of May until the 15th of June. And for the summer semester, it's the 15th of November until the 15th of January. Just if you don't plan to apply right now, but maybe next year. So that was it from me. And I think we will get back to the Q&A session if you have any questions.
Excellent, Jenny. I think we made it on time.
Yes, so thank you to both of you for being so informative and providing all this important information to the students. Thanks a lot. And for the Q&A, I will just make a short note for the students who are sending in questions. I see all the questions. If some of them are not answered, I'm doing this on purpose because there are some of them I would like to address them live. That's why. So stay with us. Don't think that I'm ignoring you. So just I'm doing it on purpose. I have some idea, I plan in my mind. So yeah, thank you once again for all the information. And let's move now to our second speaker, to the second program. Let me share with you the screen. Yes, so we are moving a bit toward the north to the Technical University of Applied Sciences, Wildau, and we have our guest Martin Bradbeer, who will be talking about on the program, BA program in European Business Management. So let me stop sharing the screen and invite Mr. Bradbeer to the floor.
Okay, great. So thank you very much, Georgia. Thank you very much indeed. Pleasure to be here to present the Bachelor Program European Business Management. And this is very much a new course for us. It's something that we spent a few years developing. We started it off last September with the idea being for it to be to offer students a path to an international business career, whether they go on from their bachelor to do a master's, or whether they go on from the bachelor to straight into work. Now, the bachelor program is actually a 7-semester program, and it's completely in English and designed for those students who want to work, of course, in an international business environment. As I said, it has been newly conceived, it's internationally oriented, although it has got a focus on Europe, as we'll see from some of the subjects, and it's very much a competence-based business degree. Again, I'll go into that in a bit more detail shortly. 100% in English, so that's great. There are, of course, options to take courses in German, so this is not only language courses, but also if you have German, if your German is at like a high B2 level or C1 level, then there are the options of taking modules in German. The course over the 7 semesters is basically divided into 3 phases, and these 3 phases we'll go into in a bit more details shortly. The first phase is like a general studies phase, where it covers the main subjects like maths, business admin, finance, marketing, human resources, etc., to provide you with a good, solid foundation to move into the next phase, which are the advanced studies. These advanced studies give you the chance to specialize in areas that you particularly find interesting. The third phase is then the so-called mobility phase. It's where you've got the chance to study and work abroad and then write your bachelor thesis. After 7 semesters on graduation, I think many students will go on to take a master's course. And you could, for example, once you graduate in European Business Management, you can take a general business course anywhere in the world, of course, because you've got a bachelor's in the English language. You could, of course, stay in Germany. You can go to Regensburg. I mean, it's a fantastic city. I've been there myself. It's great. And so that will be another opportunity for you to go as well to universities in Germany that do master courses in English. Or you could alternatively dive straight into the world of work, again on an international basis, working in areas like middle management, in areas of personnel, finance, marketing, and consultancy, etc. As you can see, there are links at the bottom of the slides, and these will be made available afterwards. So you can go straight to this information to read for yourself what I'm talking about now. So what about yourselves? What do you need to bring with you if you want to study European Business Management in Wildau? So first of all, you need, of course, a good, solid level of English. We decided on a B2, which is like a upper intermediate level. This is an IELTS Academic 6 or TOEFL IBT 76. So you need to have at least that level. If, for example, you have done your secondary schooling all in English and you have done your exams in English, etc., then we would, of course, accept that. The key thing is that you've got that English language level to go in to understand everything that you're studying. There is no NC, there's no numerus clausus. So there is obviously no German needed. It's good to have a bit of German, and you can learn German language, do German language courses in Wildau to also provide you with that extra support. Because of course, if you're in Germany, it is of course good when you're studying in another country to be able to speak the language. You of course need to have an interest in working in an international business environment. That is, of course, one of the reasons why you're here today, that interest in getting outside into the world, into the wide world, and having an exploration, looking what is out there, where can I find work around the world. The European Business Management is international, but it has this focus on Europe. So it is a good idea to have some kind of interest in basic economic and social affairs in Europe as a whole. not just the EU, but Europe. That also includes the United Kingdom, where I actually come from, which is not part of the EU, but is, of course, still part of Europe. You need, of course, to have the ability, the desire, the willingness to work in teams. We do a lot of working in teams, as well, of course, as the desire to lead people. If you're studying a management course, you will end up being in management positions. You'll be in positions of responsibility, positions where you are leading people. And that is something that we foster, that we develop as well. And last but not least, of course, an interest in studying and working abroad. So Wildau, where is Wildau? As Georgie said, it's sort of somewhere sort of like the northeast, if you like. It's just outside of Berlin. It takes about so like 30 minutes on the train to get from Berlin to Wildau. It is, in fact, the largest technical university of applied sciences in Brandenburg. I'll show the figures in a minute. Brandenburg is a place that is full of lakes, forests, as well as open areas. Wildau has got lots of lakes and rivers. It's a very relaxing area to study in. We actually have our own city train station. So you get straight to Wildau, off the train, and you're on campus. That's nice and easy. And it is very close to the new airport as well. So it's quite quiet at the moment. We're not on the flight path, luckily, but it's not far from the airport. We do a lot of have projects, of course, with the Berlin airport, and we're near Tesla. So Elon Musk's the new Tesla factory in Grünheide is not too far away from us, and that provides us, in particular, with great opportunities to cooperate with. The university is divided into two faculties. We have business, computing and law, where I am based, and the other faculty, engineering and natural sciences. And engineering and natural sciences, particularly engineering, is based or very much linked to the whole history of Wildau, the university where it's based. It's based on an old engineering location. A factory was here that built locomotives, and the university was set up in 1991. And around the university are lots of SMEs, so small and medium-sized enterprises, with whom we cooperate on projects. We send students there for internships, and they send us projects to work on to find solutions for them. We're quite small, but still the largest in Brandenburg. We've got about 3,600 students, and a good 600 of the students are international students. Again, more of that shortly. The campus itself is very well equipped. The IT is excellent. The library is great. We actually had a Library of the Year award. It seems just yesterday, but it's actually 2012, but it's still an excellent university. Residences, a halls of residences, we have 2 of those on campus. The last one was just finished recently. So there's places for people to stay as well on the campus. So that's enough of Wildau as such. Wildau is quite a small university, quite a small town, 10,000 people, near Berlin, but far away from Berlin. That you're in the nature, really. Now, coming to European business management in detail, it seems quite a lot when you look at this first of all. But as I said at the beginning, it's divided into 3 different phases. We have, first of all, the general studies phase, the first 3 semesters, where you have 90 credit points. So in total, we have 210 credit points over the 7 semesters. The general studies, this is there to give you a solid base of knowledge. across this wide range of subjects. And so we have modules on, yeah, like I said, accounting, HR, marketing, law, etc. And this will also give you a good preparation to go into the advanced study phase in the 4th and 5th semesters. Because often when, in my experience, this is obviously quite well known, when you start studying at a bachelor level, students often do not know where they're going to end up. And so this is a perfect way of testing, do I like this? Do I like that? Do I not like this? Do I not like that? And it gives you an idea of which direction you can go into. And once you have that, then you go into the advanced study stage in the 4th and 5th semesters. Also in the first 3 semesters, we do, of course, offer language courses, including Spanish and French, and of course German for those students who don't speak German. So we've got that in the 2nd and 3rd semesters. As mentioned, we have development of personal and social competencies and skills. So things like team working, time management, problem solving, conflict management. This whole idea is to develop you as a person, as an individual, both personally, of course, and professionally. This follows throughout the whole of the 7 semesters. In the 4th and 5th semesters, the advanced studies, you've got specializations. Each here, we've got the compulsory specialization, international management in European contexts, and focusing on international strategies in theory and practice. You've got the specialization module 1, where you can choose from a choice of different specializations, ranging from marketing, human resource analytics, etc. So finding something that suits you. And then interdisciplinary modules where you can work in small groups, project work across the faculty, so on a variety of topics. And again, elective modules, again, where you can choose which from a pool of modules that you want to focus on. So after that, you then move on to the so-called mobility and final study phase, where you have the first option. You can study abroad, the first semester, study abroad, one of our many exchange universities, which I shall show you in a minute. And then in the 7th semester, you do internship abroad, a 10-week internship, which you could also do in Germany if you're from another country, in your bachelor thesis. Or you do your option 2, where you do your internship abroad, and then come back to Wildau and take another specialization and bachelor thesis. So the 2 options. The idea is to give you this experience of working and studying in another culture. The structure, we've got lectures and seminars. The lectures you're all together, and the seminars, we generally divide that into 2 groups. 1st and 3rd semesters, the general studies. 4th and 5th semesters, the specializations. 6th and 7th semesters, internship, semester abroad, and bachelor thesis. 210 credit points, 30 credit points per semester. We've got a fit for study program at the beginning of the semester, first semester, which helps you get into studying. And if you're interested in doing an exchange semester, we have a lot of partner universities around Europe, and it is a fantastic opportunity to make the most of. And finally, we got this Europe international focus, run in English, got this focus on European international areas, lots of exchange students, this internship abroad, semester abroad, lots of international projects through Erasmus and through our exchange partners. And we really do have students from all over the world, which provides a rich and diverse learning environment. This is just some photos from our international afternoons, which we hold on a semester base. Gives the people, everyone, a chance to taste have a taste of another culture. So the European Business Management course is perfect for every one of those who want to work in an international and culturally diverse business environment. And doing this in English will give you a competitive advantage, of course, in this very changing, dynamic, global world of business. So I think that is all about it. That's about it. That wraps it up. And if you have questions, of course, pop them in the Q&A, and I'll do my best to answer them. So thank you, and I shall stop sharing the screen and get back to Georgie.
Great. Thank you very much for another wonderful presentation, another very informative one. We have some questions, but as I said, let's address them together towards the end. So, and for now, let's move to our third presentation, to our third speaker. And you can see on the screen, our guest is Professor Dr. Dina Dreisbach, and we are moving to the west of Germany now. And we are in South Westphalia University of Applied Sciences, and we will talk again about the BA level program, but in business administration with informatics. So, Professor Dreisbach, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Yeah, warm greetings from Soest. Thanks for the opportunity. Welcome to everybody also from my side. And I will try to focus on those aspects which eventually differ a little from those we have seen before. Quite some of the comments I can just support, and there are also a couple of similarities, but yeah, let's have a brief journey around our BA. First of all, if you'd like to check our webpage, please just take the QR code, the second one which you see, and please also do not hesitate to contact me personally. You can find my mailing address there, as well as the general BBA info address, which is hosted by our Agnes and Stephanie, the part of the BBA team. So, yeah, I'm speaking from Soest. Soest is one of our 5 campuses. So in total, we have approximately 13,000 students at our University of Applied Sciences. But since you would eventually come to Soest, I want to focus on that campus, which has approximately 3,600 students. So it's rather cozy. And I stem from the Center for Business Education, which for some historical reasons is aligned to the Faculty for Electrical Engineering, but this is just for historical reasons. So our Center for Business Education, of course, works independently and focuses on the business-related topics. We have almost 1,000 foreign students in total, out of which more than 600 study our BBA program. We start with approximately 120 students every winter. So currently there is the application period running. It will be running until 15th July. So you still have time to apply if you like. And what we do is we divide the group up into 4 subgroups for the seminar and exercise purposes. So in the seminars and exercise groups, you will have more of a class atmosphere, and only in the lectures, all of the BBA students will be taught together. Here you can see an overview of our study programs in our faculty. What is eventually of biggest interest to you is the consecutive master program. So this is eventually important for taking the decision for the bachelor degree. So if you like to stay, you can do that. And you can follow up with the consecutive International Management and Information Systems master. We have a long experience with international students. Our BBA program is already more than 15 years old. We have also a long tradition of international relationships with our partner universities, which I will show in a minute. First of all, I want to show a little bit of our facilities, some lecture halls, just to give you a brief impression. This is our Audimax. So we are well equipped as well. All of the rooms are very modern. We have good IT, good PC pools, which is, of course, essential since we are a program of business administration with informatics. And you can see our library here as well, just to give a brief impression what it looks like. We have really a nice campus atmosphere. It's cozy. It's nice, it's international, and since we have more than 600 international students currently studying the program, there is quite a good international atmosphere on campus. So what's the idea of this study course? Basically, we offer a broad education in business administration with a focus on applied informatics. I want to stress that, so we are not a technical informatics study course, even though some of our students end up being a developer or further conducting a master's in more technical informatics. Our focus is applied informatics, for instance, ERP systems, SAP, data analysis. It's quite dynamic, so we have a lot of electives as well. So we always try to catch the latest developments here. Our study course consists of 3 pillars. So I'd say around about 60% belong to the general broad education and business administration, which leaves you all the opportunities for specialization. 30% approximately are related to applied informatics, which gives, of course, great opportunities on the job market. And we have 10% which belong to compulsory modules in English language and soft skill development. Even though we have quite a high level of English language we require for entering the study course, we ask for a 6.5 IELTS or 91 TOEFL to enter the study course, just to make sure everyone is really ready and has the required English language level. We still further develop it in terms of academic English, in terms of business English, specific topics in the field, but also soft skill development as mentioned. We have currently international students from more than 60 countries. And this is also special. We do not have the one big group which stems from one culture. It's really mixed from all over the world, and this gives really a great and inspiring mixture. Our lectures are also exclusively taught in English, as it was the case in the program before. Plus, we have the entire study service from A to Z in English. So it starts with application, it proceeds with accommodation, with coaching, with mentoring programs. So all the services around the study course are entirely available in English as well. We have an international orientation of most subjects. So it's not just the English language, it's also the content, it's also the perspective we take. And the most 2 intense cooperations I want to mention, we have many more also in the context of Erasmus. So we really promote the international exchange, but 2 I want to mention. We have a dual degree with the Swiss German University in Jakarta, and we have an intense cooperation with summer courses and the options to gain credits, also a research workshop we run with the NYT in New York. Besides the curriculum, which I briefly described and which I will show in a minute in more detail, we have many optional lectures and tutorials. So in case in the starting phase of the studies, you realize, I need a bit of extra training in certain fields, you can have that. This is available not only in maths, but also in special topics such as job application training or Excel or self-development. Soest isn't very big. It has approximately 60,000 inhabitants. It's a medieval, very traditional city, very cozy and lovely. Located close to the Ruhr area. The Ruhr area is a densely populated area, industrial area in the western part of Germany with big cities such as Düsseldorf, Dortmund. Cologne is not far away, so there are many, many job opportunities. And in South Westphalia in particular, we have really strong companies which are called the hidden champions. So those are SMEs which are partially even world leaders in their field. So there are plenty of opportunities for internships, and I can really tell our students find internships. There are really no difficulties. This has really changed in the last years. So even without any German knowledge, even though I agree with Mr. Bradbeer, it's helpful if you have some German, at least for socializing purposes. But even without really a sound knowledge of German, you can enter the job market, you can find internships, you can find jobs. Okay, taking a little bit of a closer look to what are the special features. So what is really important to us is a high importance of services. We regard ourselves as the BBA family. So we care for you, we are in touch with you, it's not anonymous, we provide accommodation support, we have a BBA students team, which makes sure everybody at least who likes to is integrated in the group. We also promote really the exchange between the different cultural groups to make sure not everybody stays within their own community. We have mentoring offers. But we run an open door policy. So me as the course director, my door is open, I'm available. So we really care for an intense and close relationship to our students, and we believe we learn from each other. So what's the content? I mentioned already general education and management. You can see some of the classical modules mentioned in BBA. We offer the option to build focuses. So in case you figure out during the first semesters, I want to focus a bit more in this or this field, more in business, more in IT, and we have subdivisions in focuses as well. You can do that. This will be shown in your final record if you like, you don't have to. And we have a free choice of the thesis project as well, which is not always the case. So in many bigger universities, you do not have the free choice. Here you can really choose it according to your interest. You can find the suitable supervisor, and this will be possible also, of course, in cooperation with companies, which we frequently have this case. Here are some modules mentioned related to the IT section. These are just the compulsory ones. We have many electives. So if you like, you can check the catalog of electives on our webpage as well. I don't want to read them all out, but there are plenty of opportunities to also specialize if you like. Here are some of the companies at which our graduates work. There are many more. So over the years, since we run this program for more than 15 years already, we developed really a tight network also of alumni, who also give hints, who are still connected to us, and who also help with internship opportunities and with getting in touch and building the contacts. Here, this one gives a brief idea of what the consecutive master program is about, even though this is not the focus of my presentation today. This belongs to my colleague, the course director, Professor Wildau, but just to give a brief idea, we have a long experience with distance learning already. So we didn't develop this due to Corona. We have this program running for almost 8 years now. And the specialty of this one is that there is just one semester with face-to-face teaching. The second semester is entirely based on distance learning in combination with the external options. So you can either study abroad or take an internship and in parallel take e-lectures. And then you basically finish in your third semester with the research project, and we will provide you with some extra training on scientific working there as well. Good, so some images on what we mean when we talk about having a family atmosphere. So we have a lot of social events. So in 2 weeks, we will have our next international barbecue celebration on campus. We have an international Christmas party. We organize company tours. We have also the international movie nights. So besides the things which you see here on the slides related to library, PC pools, and Mensa, we really put a lot of emphasis on staying in touch, getting in touch with each other, and really having this cultural exchange. Good, here you can see a picture of our graduation ceremony, which we have every autumn. We really look forward to have it again after the Corona break. So hopefully this will work. It's taking place in October every year. And you can find some of the countries of which students attend our study course. At the moment, it's not complete, just to mention some. Okay, here you find a short summary of possible cooperation with practice partners. As Georgie put it, the universities of applied sciences put a special emphasis on promoting direct contact and cooperation with companies. Maybe one thing just to mention related to this, we also have the Swice Lab, which is an opportunity to prepare for having your own business. So creating a startup that is to promote entrepreneurship. And we were able to develop at least a small startup scene even in Soest, which we are proud of. So in case you have that in mind, this could be an option as well. Okay, so I'm already done. Here you can see our current team, the 7 student assistants, BBA mentors from all of our semesters, and our BBA office team, Arcus and Stephanie, who will be answering your emails if you send to BBA info. And again, my contact data. Thanks for your interest. And yeah, I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Dreisbach. Another wonderful presentation with essential information shared. And yeah, first of all, I would like to invite everyone to turn on their cameras. And I want to say that I had a hard time organizing the questions because there are quite a lot. I have 2 pages full of the questions. So, but I tried my best to organize them now and to not take a lot of your time. But yeah, let's jump into the questions directly, I would suggest. So let's start with Regensburg. I know that you were answering already some questions in the chat, but I think some of them are also important to voice for the larger audience. So I will start with the questions regarding the background so that we once again mention it. So what is the background? When it comes to studying Regensburg, for example, if I have a background in business administration and marketing, and another question was, if I have a background in computer science and engineering, am I eligible to study your program or not?
Jenny, would you like to take that? Or
yes, sure, I can take it. Yeah, it's difficult to judge that without actually seeing the bachelor programs you all have completed. Generally saying is we need a business degree. So with an engineering degree, I would say the chances are rather slim. However, if you have a mixed degree, like we had students applying with a international culture and business degree, or with a automotive technology and business degree, where you are on the intersection between a more technological program and a more business-oriented program, then you do have a good chance to be admitted to the program. It's really, once you apply for the program, the Master Commission will look closely at all the single courses that you have taken for your first degree, and will check whether there's enough business core there for us to believe that you can do well in our master program. Additionally, there's also the aptitude check. So if you have no basics in business studies, I think it will be really hard for you to pass the aptitude test, which is the second part of the application.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
We do have good news for students that do not have a business degree already. We do consider switching to a non-consecutive program. So keep in touch, keep checking our website. We might change to a non-consecutive master's in the next couple of semesters. Okay,
some positive news for those who don't have the bachelor in the same field. So thank you very much. Let me now move to Mr. Bradbeer, because there was also a specific question to him regarding the accommodation. So does the TH Wildau provide accommodation on campus?
Yes, so we do have 2 halls of residence on campus. So yes, so we have got accommodation on campus, and also there's accommodation near in Wildau as well. So that's like a 5-minute walk from the campus. So okay. Students do have the option, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now let's move to Professor Dreisbach. So I'm moving according to the order because I have questions for everyone. Okay, Professor Dr. Dreisbach, is there any age limit when it comes to your program?
No, there's no age limit.
Okay, quick answer. Then let's move to the other questions, and I would go back to Regensburg once again. And there was a question that Professor Leffers started answering already, but let's maybe start answer it live. So I'm very interested in applying for the program at Regensburg. Would any sort of feedback document be sent by mid-July? The visa situation in my country has a 12-month period for appointment, and as such makes the application time complicated. Would the university be understanding of this situation? Thank you in advance. Yeah, the visa issue is always complicated because sometimes students need information really early. In some countries, it's a bit complicated. Yeah, so what would be the answer to this person?
Well, generally, once you apply to the program and once you get a letter of admission, and then you are able to enroll in the program also without coming physically to Regensburg, there's nothing that will change this, even if you don't take courses during your first semester. The time frames for receiving negative grades if you don't take any courses, they don't start in the first semester. So once you apply and you get the admission letter and you can enroll from your home country without coming to Regensburg, then you should do that, even if you're not sure whether you will meet the visa deadlines for the start in this actual year you are applying for, but you can then start in the next semester with the regular courses. You will just be longer enrolled than the other students will be because you haven't done any courses in your first semester. So that is the unorthodox way of answering, because we cannot hurry up the process of the whole application process until you get the letter. We try to be really fast, but I cannot guarantee that you will have all the documents by mid-June or July.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I would just add one thing as a suggestion from my side generally. Please check with your German embassy whether, if they don't mention it explicitly, it still might be implicit that sometimes they also give an opportunity to apply for a student applicant visa, which means that as soon as you make your application and you can prove that you applied, you can apply for a student applicant visa. And then you will have this visa. And when you receive already letter of admission, you can change this visa to the regular student visa. This is option which is explicitly mentioned in some countries, in other countries it's not mentioned. So what I would say, make sure to contact your embassy and find out whether it is an option for you, because if it is an option, then it will be the best one, I suppose, in this situation. All right, thank you very much. Let's move now to Mr. Bradbeer, and the question is also about background. So the person is asking that I have a BA in food and nutrition already, and can I do the BA on bachelor level with your program once again? And if yes, would this somehow affect my chances in a positive way?
Yes, of course. If you've already done a bachelor, and in English, I take it was in English, then it doesn't really matter what topic you did your bachelor in. You can, of course, apply for the Bachelor of European Business Management. And if you fulfill the language requirements, then that should be fine, no problem at all. And of course, it will give you, once you've studied one bachelor, it will give you an advantage in the bachelor program already because you have that relevant experience.
Yeah, thank you very much. This was the answer that I think the student was expecting or hoping for. Great, thank you very much. Let's move now to Professor Dr. Dreisbach. And the question is, let me read it out. So I left it here. Okay, so hi, I'm from Turkey. I have secondary school leaving certificate from eines türkischen Ferngymnasiums combined with a name that I cannot read correctly, I think, une licence diplomatie. If I hope I read it correctly. I can also prove that I passed the Turkish university entrance examination. Do I meet the requirements to apply directly to the program? So I suppose the question is, or do I still have to go through this studienkolleg?
Yeah. I have to admit, I am not in all the very details. What I would recommend in that case is I put an address in the chat, which is the direct connection or direct contact to our application department, the part of the administration which deals really with the specific details. And before I say something which is not perfectly true, please send a quick email there. Heike Sobasik will answer it, and she's very helpful. So I could give an intuitive answer, but I don't want to do that. I hope you understand that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So what it is about is basically this Hochschulzugangsberechtigung, we call it. So basically this general, what is equivalent to the German Hochschulzugangsberechtigung. And Heike Sobasik is really in the perfect details. You can send her your documents and she can give you the right answer and reliable answer right away. So I'm the academic course director. I'm not in all the details. I know a lot of details, but I cannot answer it precisely. Thanks for your understanding.
And thanks for the information. I mean, where the student can also address this question. It's also really important to know. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move now again to Regensburg. And the question is, how is the European business studies different from regular business studies? The question is.
Well, in general, I think that is a question that all the colleagues that offer European programs are frequently asked. So first of all, I would say most of our courses, they do have that international connection. So the professors who are teaching in the courses, they are people that spend time abroad, they bring in international experience to their modules. So this is everything we do has that focus of international management. Then the question is it international or is it Europe? Well, in a way, when companies go abroad, they do not focus on Europe. So they don't ask the question, should I go to Spain or France or Greece? They ask the question, should I go anywhere in the world? So of course, everything we do does have that international focus. However, we do have one module, the European Management Perspectives, where we do teach the fundamentals of the European Union, the organs, all the institutions, their role, and so on. And it really, this is really a very popular module with the students because we bring in members of the European Parliament. So members of the Parliament, they come from Brussels to Regensburg for sessions with the students, and they answer all their questions like as to what is this thing called Europe. And this is really, really interesting, especially for myself also as a professor in the program, because that's really firsthand experience on how Europe works.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, really comprehensive answers. Thank you for that. I hope the question is answered. and for me it was answered. I hope I'm sure for the student as well. Let's move forward. There's a question for Mr. Bradbeer and Professor Dr. Dreisbach. Actually, several questions came up, so I will ask you together now this question because about the fees. Could you please also share information regarding the fees on your programs? And let's start with Mr. Bradbeer.
Yeah, the fees. So we have registration fees. Not so tuition fees, that they're not very high. That's not my my area of expertise, knowing exactly what it is. I could, but it's on the website. So maybe if you give me a couple of minutes, I can just have a quick check on the website what that is.
Yeah, sure. And by the time maybe Professor Dr. Dreisbach would like to add.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we have no tuition as well, and we have a so-called semester ticket, which basically includes public transport for entire North Rhine-Westphalia, plus the administration fees, which makes around about 290 euros per semester. Mm-hmm. And eventually, if that is of interest, in general, if we calculate some average, like how high are the living costs, because I'm frequently asked that question. This varies a lot, of course, related to the region in Germany and depending on how big is the city and so on. So on average, the living costs, if you decide for some basic accommodation, will be something between 650 and 800 euros per month in total.
Okay. Thank you for all these numbers. It is crucial for students. I'm sure I also came once, guys, as a student to addressing the attendees now, and I know your concerns. Was on the same page once several years ago. Yes, so Mr. Bradbeer, would you like to add something on the fees, or we should move to another question?
Yeah, if you can have move on to the next question.
Okay, sure. Then let me follow the chat because now too many questions came there and I have to prioritize them. This was the question again to Professor Dr. Dreisbach. So the question is, do you provide hostel for international students? I think it's a hostel. Maybe it's about hostel. Yeah. So yeah, do you provide hostels?
So we do not have a dorm or anything directly on campus, but the situation in Soest in terms of accommodation is fairly okay as compared to, let's say, one of the really big city areas. So what we do is, and we highly recommend to take that offer, we have a team of 3 people, especially for BBA, who support with accommodation. So directly after you receive your admission letters, you should contact us. What we do is we have basically a little forum which we developed in which the former BBA students or BBA students just graduating can post their accommodation, can offer a place maybe with their existing roommates, or in which also private landlords can post offers. And that actually works pretty well. So in the end, those people who would like to stay in Soest get accommodation in Soest. In case you arrive in Germany really at short notice, shortly before we start in October, we also have emergency solutions. So no one needs to sleep under the bridge, but it's of course advisable to contact us as soon as possible. What we also have to say, there are some students, especially those coming from the mega cities, who prefer to live in one of the bigger cities nearby, such as Dortmund or Düsseldorf. And since you have the semester ticket included in your fees, it's also no big deal to do that. But yeah, it's not such a big issue in terms of accommodation.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. And let me do a follow-up question to you and also to Mr. Bradbeer, because there's a question to your programs, BA programs. Is it compulsory to write IELTS exam? I'm sure, yeah, we addressed this question several times, but maybe this person has just joined. So let us provide also some, once again, information about this language certificate, if it's possible.
Okay, maybe I could say something about the European Business Management. So yes, so IELTS is something we would accept IELTS as well as the TOEFL, etc. And so we have, what was the check here? So the IELTS academic on a 6 and the TOEFL IBT was 76 points.
Okay.
Yeah, to add for our BBA program, so we have the IELTS with 6.5, the TOEFL with 91, and we have a third option, which is an in-house test according to Oxford standards, comparable with the levels of the previous two I mentioned. So in case you get your admission letter a little later, or you have issues with visa and you cannot arrange an appointment with TOEFL or IELTS on time, as an emergency option, we offer an in-house test.
Yeah. Thank you. So all the questions that were for Regensburg only were attacked by Ms. Bingold or by Professor Leffers. So then I see a general question about studying in Germany. And as I see, it's about GPA, because the person is from India, he or she has 57%. So I suppose it refers to the GPA. So then on your programs, on all three, I'm addressing, but maybe not all three, it is more about the master's program. So it's about Regensburg. Is the GPA, do you have any minimum GPA? And what is it in German standards? And is it flexible or really strict requirement?
Yeah, as you already mentioned, for us, it is a restrictive requirement. I can't really say anything about all the different GPA and the cumulative CGPAs that are out there. They differ widely depending on the country you're applying from. But generally, we use the modified Bavarian formula to translate all grades into the German system. And in the German system, the minimum grade that we need is a 2.5. And if you just Google the modified Bavarian formula, you will find the form you need to use to do the translation of your degree grade into our German grade system. So I advise to try that out, and then just take the risk. You know, if it usually equals a B at least if you're using a letter grade. But with the GPAs, it's always basically a little math test that we have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so regarding GPAs, guys, as it was already mentioned, usually this Bavarian formula or modified version is used, and you might be surprised when you see that, for example, what is the system in Germany? I was surprised when I saw first they start from 1, which is the best. Maybe in your country, I'm sure it is maybe the worst one, but here is the best. And then higher you have 1.3, 1.7. The relatively worst is your grade. So be sure to transfer your grade into the German system. Otherwise, you will be confused. So yeah, thank you very much for that. So we are running out of time. We have lots of questions. Obviously, we will not be able to answer them, but there's one question which popped up several times. I want to address this question, and then let's call it a day. It was about the Ukrainian students, Ukrainian refugees. So are there any special programs for refugees, or if this person does not meet all the qualifications, maybe there are some exceptions in this case for people coming from Ukraine? Yeah, this is a question for all the programs. Maybe let's start with Mr. Bradbeer, if he would like to, and then move forward.
So it depends. If the students are visiting students, then that's fine, and they're able to come to our university for a short period of time and hopefully then get back to Ukraine. Yeah. If they're studying as a full-time student, then we're dealing with this problem, because it is a bit of an issue of if students are unable to provide documentation because we would need to have some kind of documentation of their of the school education background and language competencies. But once you're here, it is of course possible to do a language course, a language test here, either an IELTS or a TOEFL course. So that's if you want to study here as a full-time student, we would need the documentation at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe to briefly add on that, I think that is not so much a question of the individual universities. I think the German government as such has decided that students from the Ukraine can obtain some sort of electronic self-disclosure. So I put the link. I put a link to the online resources that we have at OTH in the chat function, and there also is a part in that section dealing with admissions, and there you find that electronic self-disclosure form. So there you could say what you have, and what I understand, but this is not a solution that is proprietary to any of our universities. It's a German-wide way of dealing with Ukrainian students. I understand that this is a rather generous workaround. So you can say, I have done this, I have done that, and then that should be accepted. But please, my colleagues, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, fully agree. Maybe just to add, we already have quite some Ukrainian refugees. We integrated 5 which have an Ukrainian origin as free movers. We have also quite a number of refugees from Ukraine, but not of Ukrainian origin. So it's a slightly different story there. So the regulation is more generous at the moment, at least. This changes frequently with the Ukrainian citizens. So what we did with those was we did an initial in-house test to assess the level of English, to give them, a realistic assessment. Would you be able to apply to the BBA standards and so on? And all 5 of them decided to regularly apply. Yeah, so we gave them a little bit of time to breathe, and now they are trying to get what they can get electronically from their home universities, and figured all the documentation out with our application team. But this is how we basically handled it, and we offer scholarships, especially for Ukrainian students. So they are quite attractive, actually. So in case you wish to apply and you are interested also in the funding, because this can be, of course, decisive as well, you can please check our webpage, so you will find the details for the scholarship. But fully agree with my colleague. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, great. So it was really amazing session. Thank you very much to everyone who participated. Lots of information from the speakers, also lots of questions. That was quite a lot. It was the first time I couldn't finalize all the questions, but it's really nice. It's really cool. And for those, there are still some questions that are open, and what I would suggest, maybe our guests would agree, so that if there are any specific questions that are left, the contact information was provided by all 3 programs. So in this case, address the programs directly. And I also saw some general questions. In this case, you are also more than welcome to send us an email. You can see the email in front of your screens. Also, I put it in the chat, info@mygermanuniversity.com. So we will also try our best to get back to you as soon as possible and to provide as comprehensive answer as possible. Small note, there were some questions that came regarding the calculation of GPA, whether there are some links, and I also put some links in the chat as well for those who want to see where their GPA stands approximately according to the German standards. So and for those who would like to also give us some feedback regarding today's webinar, you can freely do that using our direct links to Facebook or Google, which are also in the chat. So leave us feedback, whether you had any concerns or some compliments regarding today's webinar. We'll be happy to read them. Once again, thank you very much to all our guests, to speakers, to the moderators. I enjoyed the webinar, and as you could see, the guests as well, the attendees as well, because yeah, this is a huge amount of questions that we received, and most of them stayed until the end even. So yeah, thanks once again, and have a nice evening or nice morning, afternoon, or whatever, depending on where you are joining us from.
Waiting for your applications. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Georgi, also for organizing.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.